we have an organised road safety operation. It's underway since 7 a.m. on Thursday the 2nd of April, and it's going to run until 12 midnight on Tuesday the 7th of April. So it will cover the Easter bank holiday weekend. And look, unfortunately, to date, we've had 42 people have died on Irish roads so far this year, which is a very high figure. We're extremely concerned that that figure could increase over this weekend if people don't take the necessary precautions.
And noting that 8 of those 41 have died over bank holiday periods as well.
That's correct, and that's something. Why are we focusing again and putting out these messages around the bank holidays? We expect there'll be an extremely busy movement of people over the next coming days. The clocks have changed as well now, and a lot of people will be moving around. We'll have a lot of pedestrians, cyclists, and look, unfortunately, pedestrian fatalities are quite high as well this year. We've had 12 fatalities to date, and they're very vulnerable road users. Obviously, when we look at these and look back at them, what can be done to prevent more fatalities, it really comes down to an awareness of all people involved, the pedestrians, to make sure that they take the necessary precautions, cross the road in the correct place, make sure that they're well lit up if it's coming into dusk or nighttime, or even during the daytime, to make sure they're clearly visible. Walk on the correct side of the road, which would be against traffic, unless it's a very, very large crowd. Then the rules of the road allow you to walk with traffic. But again, once motorists come into areas for the potential of cyclists or pedestrians, they need again to reduce their speed and, I suppose, prepare for the unexpected. And unfortunately, what we get a lot of feedback from road traffic collisions is that I just didn't see the person, it happened all of a sudden. But when we look back, was there something extra? Were you distracted? Was it a possibility you looked down to see where your mobile phone was, or were you on your mobile phone when the collision happened? So all these small little actions on behalf of motorists are really the ones that we're trying to reinforce this weekend, is to try and drive without using your mobile phone. Make sure you don't drink or drive or use any intoxicant. Make sure that, again, over this period, that if you are travelling, that you always wear your seatbelt. Watch out for the vulnerable road users. And again, the highest risk, unfortunately, for a fatality or serious injury over this weekend will be between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock over the course of the weekend. However, looking at the statistics...
That's in the afternoon, evening.
However, if I look at the statistics, it would say that, there's no real safe period on the 24-hour clock that you could say that, look, if you're not taking necessary precautions, that you're not at risk of having a serious injury, traffic collision, or being involved in a fatal one, unfortunately. So,
and on that note, when we talk about road traffic collisions that take place due to people being under the influence, we're not just talking about nighttime and early hours of the morning either, are we? We hear about lots of incidents to take place in the following morning or the following afternoon when there's still a substance in somebody's system.
Yeah, Pat, people have to realise now that, if you do partake of an intoxicant, it will stay in your system for a long period of time. It does impair judgment, driving, walking, cycling, any of those activities which are on the road. Although we don't have an offence for somebody walking, but under an influence, but we do find that sometimes people don't make the proper provision to get home from the pub or from being socialising, take a chance on walking, are intoxicated, and then those decisions lead them to, staggering on the road, falling out in front of vehicles. We've had a number of very sad situations whereby pedestrians have, fallen in front of cars or lying down the road, unconscious, I suppose, and then are rolled over by vehicles as well. So those situations do develop, particularly over bank holiday weekends where people are out probably drinking to excess in some extremes. So look, it's a very clear message. We want to make sure that everybody arrives safely at their destination. Our job for the weekend from Garda Síochána is to provide as much protection for everybody on the road as possible, and we want everybody to enjoy the weekend for the family and for the friends, and make sure that by the end of the weekend we don't have another statistic to add to our already increasing numbers, and that everybody arrives safely and on time.
What will the Garda Road Safety Campaign look like, Eddie? Will we, for example, see checkpoints in this county?
there will be checkpoints. There's continually checkpoints every day across the roads of Clare, and you will continue to see that over the weekend. We do have an extra focus as part of the bank holiday weekends, and some areas will be targeted with more checkpoints. And again, looking at the rural areas and the urban areas, we try and get our balance as right as we can, particularly coming up to these weekends. So look, you will see our officers will be out there. They will be enforcing the rules of the road, the road traffic acts. And again, hopefully, again, the clear messaging is to make sure that everybody just plays their part to make everybody safe. We're coming into a weather period as well, and just looking at the weekend, the weather forecast is not great, with the potential for some stormy conditions. So again, if people are moving around, make sure their vehicles are in a roadworthy condition, make sure their wipers are working correctly, that they demist the windows correctly. Even simple things like this make the difference between being able to see maybe a pedestrian or cyclist or not, and then obviously getting conflict with same.